Yavapai Broadcasting and the City of Cottonwood proudly present Inside Cottonwood, an inside look at the decisions and issues of the City of Cottonwood. Brought to you by Arizona Smile Designers.
Welcome to Inside Cottonwood. My name is Richard Faust. I'm Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. And with me today, I'm pleased to have both Hezekiah Allen as well as Ryan Bigelow. Both of them are Recreation Services Supervisors for the City of Cottonwood. They both have various functions within the Recreation Center, as well as now the outdoor programs and sports and aquatics, as well as all other aspects of recreation. So it's good to have them both here today because they can answer a lot of questions that I might not be able to answer for you. We wanted to go through a little bit of information as it pertains to the informational updates to the Recreation Center and the direction over the past 3 years and kind of where we've gone, maybe some history, as well as where we are headed for in the future. We wanted to go over some of the successes as well as needs for improvement from the center operational standpoint, and also information probably today will give you a little bit more on where we are with the Cottonwood Youth Commission, as well as the kind of some post-program updates as it pertains to the Brian Mickelson Marathon and Looking Good Cottonwood. So again, welcome. I am your host today, and thank you for joining us. Just to give you a little bit of history on the background, I think for the Recreation Center, again, the recreation centers of this size and magnitude are rather large creatures amongst themselves. The operational costs and expenses of recreation centers, they are pretty large. And so there has to be a lot of planning and pre-planning as it pertains to this. And one of the things about the Cottonwood Recreation Center that some people might not know is that the Recreation Center goes back to probably around 1997-98 as to the pre-planning aspects of it. A survey went out from the Parks and Recreation Commission. There were over 700 surveys that were sent back, and out of those, it identified very specifically as to the amenities of the Cottonwood Recreation Center that we have today. There was also a follow-up by 2004, 5, and then by the time period we looked at all of the public forums that we went through, which there were 3 public forums for the community to provide additional information and input prior to an actual feasibility study that went into effect. But the feasibility study and the public forum provided us with a magnitude of information all the way across the line as to what we needed to be offering. One of the things that we wanted to take a look at today and provide you information with is cost recovery and where we are with cost recovery as it pertains to the Recreation Center today. One of the things that the voters and the Voters Initiative in 2006 of November, the voters voted in the Cottonwood Recreation Center overwhelmingly, but along with that, the voters wanted to make sure that there would be a membership program that would help and assist with paying for cost recovery at a certain rate. The feasibility study came back and identified that that rate should be right at around 65%. And so we had a goal, and we had a set of objectives on how to get there with that 65%. And one of the things that we had specifically identified was that the cost recovery needed to be pretty much built upon a membership program. Membership programs are one of the big assets for our cost recovery, and all recreation centers throughout the United States are built upon membership programs for their cost recovery. Most recreation centers are very similar to ours at about 60 to 65%. We did a recent study for the City Council because the Council was very concerned about where we were. Over the last 3 years, we've actually seen a decline in the cost recovery for our facility. And we've declined from a 60% cost recovery rate in 2011 to about a 57% in 2012, and right now we're on track for about a 55% cost recovery rate. And this is one of the things the council is very concerned about. So they requested staff to provide them with a set of options. Those options came out at a previous council meeting, and we wanted to go over those options with you as we take a look at this a little bit further. The options were, as we looked at the cost recovery, one of the things we have to look at is expenditures. And when we're looking at expenditures for a recreation center, whereby we're expending $1.2 to $1.25 million a year to actually administrate and operate the recreation center, it's a lot of money. And again, when you're looking at probably close to 60% to 55%, we bring in between $650,000 to around $730,000 of that through our membership, as well as our programs and the things that we do and what we offer within the recreation center. So we had to basically come up with a plan, and that plan was that we would come before the city council. We would identify that we needed to look at decreasing expenditures and increasing revenues, and where would we go from there. We wanted to identify this potent plan of action to the council. We looked at completing the installation of the rooftop solar panel system. We have, I guess, the question I have, do you know or do you remember how many solar panels we're looking at on the top of our roof?
I don't know exactly the number of panels. I do know it's over our indoor pool facility, the entire structure. So if you kind of look at the back half of the building, it's all solar panels. Okay.
And so I think that's one of the, we were originally looking around 56 panels. I think we're really close to 80 total by the time we were done with our construction phase of the panel system. And that rooftop solar panel construction was actually forecast to give us probably around a 2% increase in cost recovery. And again, this was no cost to the community. This was actually from funding that was originally set aside from the original voter initiative and the bond election. So that money was specifically identified for the solar panels clear back by 2008 and 9 when we were going through the planning stage. So this has no impact as it pertains to membership, but it will help us overall maybe meeting our goal, and that's what our hope is our goal to increase by around 10% where we are right now. This hopefully will give us around a 2% increase to our cost recovery. The other aspect of providing council with information as well as options was to eliminate the recreation center discount program. We'll go into that here in just a minute, but that discount program, if we eliminated the discount program that we offer currently at the rec center, would forecast us to maybe get us around 2 to 3% an increase in the cost recovery. We also provided council the option of increasing banquet hall fees by $10 per hour, elimination of the recreation manager position, which is really a massive option on our behalf to be able to provide something of that magnitude back to the council from internally within our administrative structure for operations at the recreation center. This position is over all of recreation and recreation programming, all of our recreation center operations, and we felt that with that open position, maybe the best thing to do would be to look at stepping up from within. And so this would hopefully give us around 4 to 5% cost recovery. So with that, we were looking at additional line item expenditure reviews to take a look at whether there were some other budgetary options, whether we could maybe filter some of the recreation center funding to our parks and recreation budget, because we actually overlap an awful lot with our external programming into the recreation center. We house all of our program people that are outdoor programmers inside the recreation center. So we also wanted to look at reducing indoor pool hours as a possibility, because we have a lot of stagnant time where there's really nobody at our indoor pool, so we wanted to take a look at that, and then also look at a potential for outsource operations within the center itself as a possibility, and that would include maybe providing some sort of a concession operation or something else that would maybe make money at the recreation center. So all of those things are opportunities within the rec center that we provided information on for options, maybe get us back online for cost recovery for over the next 3 to 5 years. we took a look at this, and again, it's vital that the community understands that we have a cost recovery mandate on the behalf of the public that keeps us within the context of our budget and keeps us within the context of expenditures as well as those revenues that we need for our recreation center. I wanted to just provide you with this information. We'll go into a little bit more in depth here, but we want to take a break for right now, and we'll be back after a message here from some of the sponsors. Again, my name is Richard Faust. I'm your host today with Inside Cottonwood, and we'll be returning shortly.
Arizona men, women, and children battle the often debilitating impact of multiple sclerosis every day. You can help find a cure. Register today for Arizona's premier cycling event, Bike MS Ride the Vortex, May 18th and 19th, presented by Sam's Club. You choose the distance that's best for you, from 30 to 150 miles. Proceeds fund research that can make a difference. For information and to register yourself or your team, visit www.bikemsarizona.org.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. And with me today is Ryan Bigelow as well as Hezekiah Allen for the Cottonwood Recreation Center as well as the Parks and Recreation Programming. Welcome both of you guys. I know when we talk about cost recovery, it's one of those things where we're looking at a 5-year plan with the City Council and what we've recently provided the City Council for hopefully an increase of 10 to 12%. That's our major goal, and hopefully we'll be able to attain that. And that's a heavy option here available for us also. And Ryan and Hez, I wanted to throw a question out to you guys, and one of the things is this recreation manager position, and it was a very difficult decision on our behalf, but we felt we needed to step forward also. As the City of Cottonwood must, as well as a government should, as it pertains to maybe sharing in the options here available to us, that we need to do something on our end also, and in order to add to this to help with cost recovery with the recreation center. But tell me what, or tell our viewers here, the benefits of the position, but I think how is this going to impact us and impact you, and what are those sacrifices? Because there will be a sacrifice in this with this position.
We paper, rock, scissors.
Go ahead.
Okay. Like you say, the positions it's huge. It's a large responsibility. It was a sacrifice on behalf of the department. As you stated, this is a blueprint. It's our responsibility as staff to go to the council and say, listen, we see this coming down the line. We want to avoid this, and that's our job. And so by getting rid of the position, it was a large chunk of change. Ryan and myself are taking on a lot of additional responsibilities, as well as you are. But we're doing that on behalf of the citizens. We're not cutting any services. Like I said, this is a sacrifice, so I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I just want to note that it's not just on our behalf that we're sacrificing. This is going to go all the way down the line to our part-time employees, all of our full-time employees. This is going to affect everyone that we have on board. But part of our jobs as supervisors is to make sure that everybody is on board with that. And we've had really positive response from staff that they know what kind of situation we're under, and they're willing to step up. So not just us, but everybody we've got on board is ready to go.
Well, I think you've also you've heard from the public as it pertains to one in particular thing that we've identified, and that is elimination of discounts. And can you tell a little bit about the discounts? I know that you did kind of a study statewide as well as up into Colorado about discounts and things, and we seem to be the only one that predominantly has offered discounts. Is that correct?
What we found when we were looking at this, and in cost recovery specifically, was we were offering a lot of discounts to a lot of different people. We found that nearly half of our current members were getting some sort of discount in one figure or another, and sometimes combining the two, which as far as a business model just wasn't going to be working for us to reach our goals of that 60% cost recovery. Other facilities comparable to ours around the state and even into Colorado, we're not giving nearly the amount of discounts, if discounts at all. So we decided to go with more of the industry standard and eliminate a lot of those discounts. Now, that is something that has affected a lot of people. But when we did note this to our current membership, we got a lot of positive feedback from people saying, you know what, this is a tremendous facility. We understand your rates are more than fair at this point in time. And you know, if we're going to have a small increase, or even to have to just reduce our decreases, that we'll go ahead and do that. They have no problem with that. Of course, there were a small few who actually came into my office and made suggestions. We've had long discussion with a lot of our members, and a lot of positive discussion. So I think a lot of good is really going to come out of this.
When we take a look at the pie chart that we basically offered the City Council that identified the distribution of members, and that distribution of membership specifically identified that there was a certain amount of individuals in various areas. And one of those, the discount program in reality was probably close to, I think, was around 9%, or maybe, well, actually, if we combined the one at Christmas time for the New Year, I think we were more at around 14 to 15% of our populace that utilized the as members of our facility had some sort of a discount program, and around 53% had no discounts whatsoever.
Yeah,
and that's pretty close. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's where we found, and you know, we also have a significant amount of Silver Sneakers members, which around 600 of our membership is actually in the Silver Sneakers program, which bottom line is their membership is subsidized by their health insurance, which is a great option, and we'll continue to explore getting more of those types of members. But that is of no real discount on our end, so that's why we really want to pursue that type of membership. But there are a lot of those, and there were also a lot of 10-day pass holders that are counting as membership. We want to encourage those 10-day pass holders to increase that membership. You know, we want to make sure they're just getting a sample of the facility with a 10-day pass. We really want to encourage them to come back and see us and make it a routine.
Right. And so, you know, as we look at that, one of the things that we will not be eliminating that council took a look at, as well as authorized staff to proceed with all of these options available to us. They authorized staff, told us to proceed, and we'll be going back to the council here this coming Tuesday as it pertains to positions and how we're going to be reorganizing within the recreation center in order to take up the massive hole, if you will, from the recreation manager position, but what we can do. But then the other thing is I just wanted to make sure that the public knew that we're not eliminating financial assistance in any way. 1% of our membership population at the recreation center, and we have really close to around 3,200 to 3,400 members, but about 1% of those are on financial assistance. And so we continue to provide that financial assistance out there to the public of Cottonwood and the Upper Verde Valley. And that actually benefits and helps families overall. You know, Ryan, I think one of the other things that we wanted to take a look at is that when we look at monthly usage totals, and with those monthly usage totals, can you explain where we are and where we were originally when we opened?
Yeah, it's kind of a unique situation where our cost recovery is actually going down, but our usage is increasing. So what this is telling us is that the members that we do have are really making this a part of their daily routine. You know, what we say is, you know, don't just make it a workout, make it a lifestyle. And the members that we do have are really changing their lives, their families' lives. This is a multi-generational facility. So we have kids in there, we have adults in there, we have senior citizens in there. Everybody's really in there making really quality improvements to their life. It is unique because when you look at our facility, you say, "Wow, we are busy. This is great." You know, machines are getting used, equipment is being used, but then is that relaying over to cost recovery? And at this point in time, it isn't necessarily. So this is why we have to make these adjustments. They are adjustments, and we will adjust and hopefully continue to pursue new membership, continue to maintain and retain the members that we have. And find a machine for everybody and make sure that everybody's got something to do. We've got a pool, we've got a basketball court. You know, the options are limitless of what you can do at the rec center.
Yes, it is, and definitely so. And I think that that's one of the areas that, if we take a look at 3 years back, you know, were people really actively involved in the community to enjoy something at the same time of increasing their health and fitness and their lifestyle. And I think that that's one of the things that the Recreation Center has definitely done in Cottonwood and the surrounding areas, is people come from Rimrock, Camp Verde, Sedona, Verde Village, Clarkdale, Jerome, all over in order to enjoy the amenities that we do have at the Recreation Center. And they are seeing some definite changes in their life patterns, their health. And this is what we wanted from the very beginning. And this was the main reason and the goal for us. And our mission is to make sure that we have a healthy community. So I think that that was one of the big things and the big areas. Thank you for that, because I know that we wanted to identify that so many of our members are definitely taking advantage. We would like to see more membership, because our facility can actually hold really close to 5,200 members, so we do have room. But it's like you said, our equipment's getting used. We have some of the treadmills that are putting on 18,000 miles a year. You people out there are really running and walking fast. It's amazing how much, and that's the other aspect of the Recreation Center, what we have to do in cost recovery, but also to provide for new equipment. We just recently purchased 6 new pieces of equipment, and so those have been going in. We've requested in our budget for this year additional pieces starting in November. So our hope is that we can also add at least another 8 to 10 pieces of brand new equipment for cardio and workout equipment for the Recreation Center in November. I want to take another break, and we can come back afterwards and discuss a little bit more as to what our plans are with the Recreation Center and with recreation within our community. I'm your host for the day for Inside Cottonwood, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. We're talking with both Hez Allen as well as Ryan Bigelow, our Recreation Services Supervisors for the City of Cottonwood. One of the things we wanted to go into also a little bit here, and then I'll turn it over to probably Ryan and Hez a little bit more as to programming and things of that nature is, a lot of people were saying, well, these costs for the solar panel system is going to, increase the cost and everything else of what we pay, and that's not true. The one thing we wanted to make sure that we identified is that there was a specific amount of money that was identified in the voters' initiative back in 2000 and 2006, and then also as we went forward and actually did the bond initiative in the election there, funding was left over, and this funding in the bond monies provided us with the opportunity to go ahead and place solar panels on the roof, which was from the inception one of the main opportunities for us as we looked at minimizing our operational costs, especially with utilities. And that's one of the main things that we do is we try to minimize those costs. We look at and look for opportunities to minimize those costs always. With that, can you give us a little bit more of an idea of how those solar panels will affect the operations and the cost at the recreation center?
Sure. As you stated, that project had nothing to do. It's not a direct reflection on membership cost or the reason we're raising anything. And really, staff, when we talk about how to save money and bring our revenue sources up, anything that affects members is our last choice. Right. We do not. That's not our point. Right. So with that solar project, the roof was actually, when the building was built, reinforced for this. So this was something that was planned along with the construction process. The solar panels, the way they work, it's really ingenious because it's kind of that KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. Right. Because there's one loop that goes through the solar panels, and as that water gets heated up by the solar panels, it goes through a transfuser, condenser type copper material, and on the other side of that is the pool water running through that. And then there's sensors in there that says, okay, the pool water is at this temperature, we need to allow it to come through and transfer the heat a couple of degrees or not to. So that's really, and then what that does is our gas system, our heaters, they don't kick on. So if they're not kicking on, we're not burning gas. And then on the other side of that, APS gives us a buyback. Because they have, their green projects and stuff like that. So it's really, it's a neat system. If you get a chance, if anybody ever wants to see it, we'll walk you by there. Obviously not huge groups of people, but right. We're excited as a staff to have this kind of technology on hand.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I know when we contacted Cortez, Ryan, they were saving really close to, I think it was $40,000 a year on their gas bill. And this is something we probably won't see as much because we live in a desert climate, so we're a little bit warmer than Cortez, Colorado. Mm-hmm. But again, any reduction in our utility costs is definitely a plus. And one of those things too, now, are the showers included in that?
Yes.
So the shower facilities, and then we have an 80,000 gallon to 100,000 gallon pool system that's right. going through this. So
the pools, there's 60,000 gallons in the main pool and there's 4,000 gallons in the spa. But what happens is when you have constant bodies in there all day, they're sucking the heat out of the pool. Right. And so the heater's always having to kick on. And then on the domestic side, which that water is running a lot hotter than what our pool side and our spa side is, it's going to drastically improve that operation and our cost savings there as well.
That's great. That's good information. Thank you. I think that along with that, we need to make mention that there was still leftover funding as it pertains to the recreation center and the bond, and we're looking at also including this November, coming November, a new water feature system that will actually stretch out over the top of the lazy river, and then from the side where there's a zero depth entry point for little children. But this water feature will conclude the total expansion, which was originally identified in the initial plans of the recreation center back in 2007 and 2008 was this water feature system. And so that system will go in, and it's one of those where it'll be a lot of fun for kids between the ages of probably 2, 3, all the way to 12 years of age. There will be water systems that will be coming on, and there will be kind of umbrella sprays and different water cannon sprays and things of that nature. So the kids will have something more to do, and there'd be more for people to actually have their kids come in, because a lot of times they come into the facility and they say there's nothing for my 12-year-old to do or my 10-year-old. But in the pool now there will be more action and activity for hands-on for those kids in that age group. So we wanted to let you know also there will be construction in the recreation center in the pool area in this coming November, along with some other things that will be happening, and hopefully some new equipment again. As we look at this, and we also then look at our recreation programs and facilities, we also are we oversee and are in charge of the Cottonwood Youth Commission, and that's basically the council and the mayor's program.
Yep.
Their youth commission. It's very similar, and it functions almost identically to the other commissions and the boards within our community. Can you tell us a little bit about what's just happened here recently with awards statewide?
It's another one of those groups that we are ecstatic to be a part of, to foster these young adults as they grow and take on leadership roles. You know, they have a model of dream big, and I think this year they have tenfold made that happen. Robert Valentine won the Verde Valley Youth Leadership Award. You know, there's 2 people in the entire valley that wins that, one adult and one youth, and he was one of them out of 50, 60,000 people. So to have him up there was amazing. He also got a scholarship for college through that. I think it was around $500. Right. And then that same week to turn around and go down to the governor's office and win the highest volunteerism award in the state. It's been going on since about 2002. Some of the winners were U.S. Airways Ado Crew, Pinal County Juvenile Court, Valley Assistance Services, Green Valley, and then how nice is it to see Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission on
Always
there.
good to see them in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we continue to provide outstanding programming, but man, when you look at the youth and the dedication, the responsibility of these youth and what they're doing is just incredible. And this basically is a mark on the positive end of things. We see sometimes we over-identify some of the negatives, but man, we need to really focus on the positive that our youth does in our community. And these people, these young people are incredible.
Yeah, I like that. Build them up.
Yes.
Set them up for success, and that's what we're doing. They're getting ready to go down to the Governor's Youth Leadership Day, and they are actually speaking. Kind of explaining to other youth commissions throughout the state, this is what we've done, this is how we've done it, this is how we have 13 members and almost 100% participation in meetings, and we do 1,000 hours of community service, and we raise thousands of dollars for other nonprofits throughout the Verde Valley. It's an impact that happens every hour, every minute by these young people.
That's incredible. Thank you. And again, my congratulations to the youth and the Youth Commission of the area, because it takes in all of the Upper Verde Valley area and all of these youth. So congratulations. That's fantastic. Ryan, I think as we wanted to close out today a little bit more so, we wanted to identify, we've had on, I think the last couple of months, a little bit more information pertaining to the Brian Mickelson Marathon and Looking Good Cottonwood programs. Can you give us a little bit of information on that as well?
Absolutely. We just wrapped up 2 of, we were talking about programming, 2 very successful programs. One being the Looking Good Cottonwood competition. It is not just a weight loss competition, but something to really educate and inform people on how to live a healthier lifestyle. Now the bonus is there are cash prizes for those who end up winning, but hopefully everybody who comes out of that competition is a winner and has made drastic improvements on their life. I need to note that Scott Richards won the overall male award for losing 31.11% of his total body weight.
Wow.
Which was about 72 pounds.
That's right.
And then Tiffany Zepeda won in the female division, losing 21.6% of her body weight.
That's great.
At 54 pounds. There was a group division this year. Team Purple won in that category, 10.9% as a team. So it was really a good competition. Verde Valley Medical Center definitely helps us a ton with that.
Right.
There were over 220 people that participated, and as a whole, they lost over 1,800 pounds.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Cottonwood is a lot lighter these days.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's great news.
So, and that program actually culminates at the Brian Mickelson Memorial, so they kind of try to work themselves up to be able to participate in the 5th annual this time around. We had nearly 630 people register and about 583 actually participate in the event this year, which numbers are equivalent to last year, but where we saw a real improvement was in our full marathon and our half marathon events. We increased those by about 30–40%. So with those events, we see people traveling from not only around the state of Arizona, but this year around the country. We had representatives from Alaska, Louisiana, Washington, D.C., Idaho, Wisconsin, Illinois, you name it. We probably saw somebody from there traveling to Cottonwood for this event specifically, which is really great, really helps the local economy, gives us great exposure. And when you have hundreds and hundreds of people gathering, it turned out the weather cooperated, and we had a tremendous day.
It was a great success. So congratulations on that too, because that's one of the things we want to see. We want to see people broaden themselves in the scope of their running, and that's what they did is they moved up. And so it was really kind of neat to see the dynamics of people doing that. So it was wonderful.
And it's great that it works in right with that Looking Good Cottonwood competition. They tried to build themselves up, and maybe this year they did the 2 mile. Maybe next year they'll look at the 10K and so on and so forth. So that's again, we're not just making it a workout, we're really making it a lifestyle.
Yes, we are. So that's good news. And final, we have some programs upcoming. Can you tell us about those?
The front desk did a great job on this flyer. Don't give the kids a chance to get bored this summer, and that's kind of what we're going with. Our summer camp, first session starts in June. It's roughly $140, $50 per week. And then our basketball camp and volleyball camp is June 10th through the 14th and June 17th through the 21st, as well as our volleyball camp June 3rd through June 7th. So come on out, enjoy the recreation center, our facilities, Dead Horse State Park, horseback riding. They're going out Africa this year. Flip City might be getting involved as well with the summer camp. So great programs. There's not a reason to be bored.
That's right. We have, that's pretty much it. When people say there's nothing to do, man, we have tons to do.
Exactly.
We got all kinds of things for you to do. You can contact the Cottonwood Recreation Center and, just touch base, and we can let you know, our staff can let you know, and I know the numbers there on the screen at 639-3200. Give us a call. We can tell you what we have going on for children and youth activities, or we can direct you and steer you in the proper direction. Just wanted to close and again, thank Ryan as well as Hez and for their time and coming in today and explaining some of the circumstances as well as our programming. And thank you for being with us for Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.